Hi, my name is Lisa from StrongHouse Yoga in Newington. I am going to lead you through a 1-hour gentle yoga sequence. Remember, every posture, every cue is just an invitation to move. If it doesn't feel good or you want to take a break, feel free to do so. We're going to start with a meditation before we begin our practice. So come to a comfortable seat and sit up nice and tall. I like to adjust my thighs to make sure that I'm sitting up nice and tall on my sits bones. I relax my shoulders down and back so that my shoulders and hips are in line with one another. And the hands can be wherever you want them to be. You can have them face down or face up, in your lap, tips touching, whatever feels good to you. So you're going to sit up nice and tall and close your eyes. By closing our eyes, we kind of turn down the volume on our thoughts. We stop taking in information from the outside world and start focusing on what's happening internally. Notice your breath and how you feel in your body and in this space right now at this moment. Start to become fixated on your breath, noticing the inhales and the exhales. Notice how your body responds to the inhale, the gentle rise in the chest. And then the exhale, feel your navel draw to your spine and your rib cage is drawing closer together. And in this practice, we will be moving through gentle poses. But let your focus be your breath at all times. Trying to keep the breath even and smooth. Take a big breath in and let the breath out. And then open up your eyes and let's start warming up our body by taking some head circles. Just make the circles nice and big. If you have any neck pain, avoid making a 360 circle. You can make semicircles. With every head rotation or semicircle, you want to imagine connecting your ear to your shoulder, your jawbone to your collarbone, your chin to your chest, jawbone to collarbone, ear to shoulder. With a gentle look up. You're still sitting up nice and tall in your spine. And moving with intention. That means noticing how each movement feels. Not rushing, but slowly, moving slowly, and noticing the feeling in the back of your neck and the side of your neck as you make your head circles or semicircles. Go ahead and complete your last circle, and then sit up nice and tall, come back to center, and just place your right hand on the side of your left head and gently drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Sitting up nice and tall, lift your chest, left shoulder is drawing down and back. If you need, you can place your hand on your shoulder to help you stretch. Take a breath in, exhale. Another in, push the breath out, and then switch sides. Left hand gently presses on the side of your left head, right hand pressing down on the right shoulder. One side might feel tighter than the other, and that's okay. With every inhale, lengthen your spine, sit up tall. And every exhale, relax your shoulders and let your head fall to the side a little bit more. And then go ahead, come back to center. Take some shoulder circles. Inhale your shoulders all the way up to your ears. Draw them back and down. Nice and big circles. And once you've done about 5 of these, we'll reverse the circle, nice and big. Complete your last circle and reach your arms over your head. Place your right arm down and reach to the left. Take a side stretch. You can do whatever you want with your head. You can keep looking straight ahead. You can look up. You can look down at your right hand. It all depends on how your neck feels, how your body feels, and nothing is wrong. Whatever you do, it's not wrong. We're just reaching to the side, stretching our side body. Inhale, come back to center. Left hand comes down, right arm reaches up and over. Keep pressing evenly into your hips, down into the ground. And come back to center, arms reach up. Exhale, bring your arms down, twist to the right. Your right hand creates like a kickstand for you to help you keep your spine nice and tall, and your left hand's on the outside of the right knee to help you twist. Your chin can stay over your heart, or you can send your chin to your right shoulder to amplify the stretch. Inhale. Exhale, bring it out a little bit more. Inhale, come through center, and exhale, switch the twist. Left hand is your kickstand, right hand helps you twist. And be sure to twist from your rib cage, not from your waist, not from your shoulders. So my right rib cage is twisting more, my left rib cage is coming back a little bit. And inhale your arms over your head. And let's come into tabletop position. In tabletop position, your palms are connected to the ground. Fingers are spread really wide. Thumbs are facing each other. Your knees are under your hips. And my navel, my tailbone is tucked, so my navel draws to the back of my spine. I'm gazing between my hands. I'm not looking up, straight ahead. Keeping my spine nice and long by keeping my chin tight, slightly tucked, and my gaze down. The face of my elbows are rolling forward. My triceps are rolling back towards me, tucking in. Core is engaged in tabletop. We're going to flow through some cats and cows. We're going to inhale, look up, drop the belly, and exhale, curl the spine, tuck the chin more, tuck the tailbone. Inhale, look up. Exhale, curl your spine. With every spinal articulation, I am rooting my hands down into the ground. Inhale, look up. My palms remain big. The face of my elbows remain forward. Inhale, look up one more time. Drop the belly. Exhale, tuck your chin, curl your spine. Come back to neutral and take a child's pose just to relieve some pressure from the arms and shoulders and joints. Bring your forehead down to the ground. You can separate your knees as wide as you like. Forehead to the ground. Hips reaching for the heels, chest reaching for the ground. Just stay here for a couple of breaths. Feel supported by the earth. So you can feel free to surrender your chest down a little bit more. And inhale, inch your fingers towards the top of the mat. And exhale, push your hips back towards your heel and down. On the next inhale, I want you to come back to your tabletop. Lift your right knee 90 degrees and take some hip circles here. Some really big circles. Once you've completed your last circle, send your circle in the other direction. Nice. Complete your last circle and send your right leg long behind you. Notice that my heel is in line with my hips. My weight is even in the palm of my hands. My navel is still drawing towards my spine. Stay here. I want you to inhale, lengthen through the top of your head and through your heel, and then exhale, curl your knee to your nose. Inhale, lengthen. Bring your knee to your nose. Another time, lengthen. Exhale, tuck your knee to your nose, lift your hips, curl your spine, lengthen your leg. Then set it back down to tabletop. Come to your child's pose. You can turn your palms facing up if that brings some sort of relief to your shoulders, to your hands. Take the pressure off of your hands. And inhale, push yourself back up to tabletop, and let's do the same thing on the left side. So make sure your hands nice and even, palms pressing down, fingers nice and wide, and your weight is even between your hands, and you're gazing down right between your palms. Inhale, lift your left knee, and then make some hip circles. Really big circles, moving with intention. Imagine the circle that you are making with your knee. And then go ahead, reverse your circle. Keep pressing down into your palms. Thinking about isolating your hip. Complete your last circle and send your leg long behind you. Toes are down, keeping the hips squared. Heel in line with your hips. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head and through your heel. And exhale, curl your knee to your nose. Inhale, lengthen. Curl it in. Do it again. Bring it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl it in. Lift your hips, arch your spine. Lengthen. Come back to tabletop and take your child's pose. Spread your knees nice and wide. Forehead to the ground. Sometimes you feel like you're smashing your nose into the ground. That's okay. Feel the pressure on your third eye chakra, that space between your eyebrows. It can be very revitalizing. And you can even take your elbows out some if that helps you feel more comfortable in your child's pose. And go ahead, push yourself up. Come into your tabletop. So your hips are nice and high in tabletop. I want you to just walk your hands out all the way to the top of your mat and then let your chest come close to the ground. Nice little puppy pose. Great stretch for the shoulders. You're reaching through your arms, pressing down and forward into your palms, into your forearms even, and your hips are pushing back. Take a breath in. Exhale, surrender your heart to the ground. If it feels good, go ahead and turn your head to the right. And then turn your head to the left just for balance. And then go ahead, push yourself, curl your toes, and walk your hands under your shoulders and push yourself up. So you're back into your tabletop. And if you curl your toes, lift your hips, push your hips up and back, come into your down dog. Stay here for a round of breaths. You're making an upside down V with your body. Palms are still big, fingers are nice and wide. Your heels pressing down into the ground. You feel like your quads are rolling towards one another. Take a breath here. And let the breath out. I want you to roll back into your tabletop. So you come forward, your knees come down to the ground. Go ahead, sit back, take your child's pose. Downward dog, it's a nice back body stretch. And it's also great for building strength in your arms, your back. And you stay as long as you can in your down dog. And if you need to come out, you just come right back to your child's pose. Go ahead and push yourself up to tabletop. Curl your toes, lift your hips, pushing them up and back.
Hands rooted, unmoved, heels pressing down to the ground. If you need to soften your knees, go ahead and soften your knees. Yoga is not about straight legs. You don't have to have straight legs or be hyper flexible. Stay here for a round of breath. Let the breath out. Maybe we do it again. In. And let it out. And then just roll yourself forward. Knees come down. Hips go back. Take your child's pose. You can take child's pose in a different way. You can bring your hands between your legs if that feels good to you. Take some relief off the shoulders, off the elbows. Or you could bring your hands outside. Your practice, your choice. Relax your hips. We're going to do down dog one more time. So reach your arms forward, press your palms into the ground, make your fingers nice and wide. Once your hands are in place, they remain unmoved. Come up to your tabletop, curl your toes, push your hips up and back. Yeah, just press your heels into the ground. Feet are hip distance apart, hands shoulder width apart. Gazing down at your toes. Long arms, hands reaching down and forward, hips up and back. Then inhale, come forward to your tabletop. Come onto your child's pose. And then inhale, push yourself up to tabletop. Curl your toes, lift your hips, and walk your hands to your feet at the top of the mat. Or walk your feet to your hands at the top of the mat. Drop your head and just stay here. Take a forward fold. I like to bend my knees, rest my stomach and chest on my thighs. And imagine the top of my head reaching for the ground. My hands are nice and soft. Fingertips are lightly touching the ground. And every inhale, I try to lift my hips a little higher without losing this connection between my thigh and my stomach. Even with a bent knee, I can still feel the hamstring stretch. My fingertips on the ground. I inhale to a half lift, making the number 7 with my body. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the ceiling. And exhale, forward fold over, hinging at the waist. Bend your knees, hands come down. Let's do that again. Inhale to a half lift. My spine is long. Crown of my head is still reaching for the front of the room. Shoulders drawing back away from my ears. Exhale, soften knees, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up over your head. You can bring your palms together, look up if you want. And exhale, forward fold, hinging at the waist, leading with the chin, and then surrendering forward fully. Inhale to a half lift, long spine, navel to spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, sweep the arms over your head. This time, interlace your fingers, release the index fingers, wrap the thumbs around each other. I'm bringing my triceps to my ears, just back a little bit, rooting down into my feet so I feel the ball mounts of my feet, my heels, but my toes are nice and relaxed. Inhale, reach up, tuck the tailbone. Exhale, bend to the right for a crescent. Pushing my hips to the left, reaching my arms to the right. It's not about the bend. It's about reaching through the arms to lengthen and pushing the hips to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, push your hip to the right. Arms reaching up and to the left. Palms pressing towards each other. Triceps still in line with the ears. My weight is even in my feet. Inhale, look up, reach up, and then exhale, forward fold. While you're here, you can use your peace fingers to grab your big toes from the inside and just pull yourself down closer to your toes. Imagine pulling your forehead to your toes. Notice my stomach and chest is still on my thigh. I can still feel the hamstring stretch. I still feel the surrender in my head, my upper body. Using your peace fingers to slightly tug on your big toe, elbows out to the side. Try to lift your hips a little higher. Straighten your leg a little more. Keeping the connection between your chest and your thigh. Gonna release your big toes. Come to your fingertips. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up. Sweep your arms up. And bring your prayer hands to your heart. And step your feet together so you feel a little bit. Come into Tadasana. Feel nice and even in your feet. Palms down by your side, facing forward. And shoulders relaxed. Notice how your shoulders feel when your palms are facing forward. Tadasana. This is a natural alignment of your body. Find a spot to stare at. Find one point of focus. That is your drishti. Once you find that spot, stare at that spot, and then soften your gaze. We're going to go into a standing series just to practice our balance. So shift your weight into your left leg without cocking your hip, right? You want to still stand up nice and straight, hip over knee, over ankle. Just lift your heel. Notice how that feels. You want to build your foundation before attempting anything more challenging. So standing here, when you feel strong and stable in your left leg, you can go ahead and lift your right knee. You can use your hands to hold the hamstring under your leg, or you can interlace your fingers and grab your knee or your shin. And just stand up nice and tall, relaxing shoulders, shoulders over hips. And
Stay here for a couple breaths. It helps to root down into your standing leg, maybe almost over focusing on your big toe when you feel like you're gonna wobble and fall out. Shift your focus to your big toe. That'll help you regain your balance. I like to flex my foot, my right foot. I like to lift my chest. So as the energy in my leg is going down, the energy in my chest and head is going up. And go ahead with the same control that you went in, the same control you will come out of the pose. Gently lower your leg. You can separate your feet. Shake your hips side to side. Take some hip circles. And then come back to center, bring your feet together. And then we're going to lift the other leg. Shift your weight into your right leg. Notice the hip does not cock out. Hip stays centered over the knee, over the ankle. Lift your heel first, get some balance. And when you're ready, lift your leg, lift your knee. Again, hands can come under the hamstring, or it can be interlaced, grabbing the shin right below the knee. Shoulders relaxed, chin slightly tucked to keep the spine long. And remember, one side might be easier than the other. It's not good or bad. It's just the way it is. You fall out, you come back in. And this is a great time to find your drishti, find that spot again. And an inhale, exhale. And set your leg back down. You can separate your feet and do the same thing here. Shake side to side. At least for me, standing on one leg creates a little tightness there, right in the side hip. And then make some circles. And come back to center. Actually, you can step your feet hip distance apart. You can bring your hands to your heart and step your right foot straight back. Straight back. And notice doing that, your foot naturally turns out a little bit and creates a 45-degree angle from the heel to the toe. If you want, you can take a bigger step. Then 90 degrees in your front knee. Keep pushing down to the outer edges of your back foot. Sink more, 90 degrees in your front knee. And as I'm sinking, I am tucking my tailbone, drawing my core, my lower ab in to keep the spine flat so that I'm not arching. You're not arching, but you want to tuck the tailbone, send the energy down the knee, 90 degrees, pressing down to the outer edge of your back foot. And then inhale your arms straight up, come into warrior one. Reaching through the arms, lengthening, palms facing one another. You can spread your fingers wide. You can look up at your hand if you want to, if that feels good to your neck. Or you just find a spot and you stay. Take a breath in. Exhale. Maybe you can sink a little lower in your warrior one. I like to inhale, straighten my front leg. And then exhale, forward fold to pyramid pose. Nice hamstring stretch. Again, leg does not need to be straight. You could bend your knee. Just tuck your chin. Maybe your forehead comes to your left knee.
But you're gazing down at your navel, maybe even through your legs to the back wall. Maybe you can see the ceiling through your legs. But relax your shoulders. Take a breath here in, and let the breath out. And you're going to walk your hands to the right, pivot your feet so they're pointing towards the right. You can pigeon toe so your heels are slightly out. Here you are in wide angle forward fold. You can stay on your fingertips if you want and drop your head, or you can come down to your palms. You can bend your knees. Just drop your head. I like to say some yeses. I usually only say yes, attracting positive energy. Some people can have you shake your head no. You can do that if you want to. But I like to say yes. I like the way it feels. Then come to stillness. Lift your hips higher. Press your palms down into the ground. Come into a half lift. Long spine. Shoulders away from ears. Gaze still down. Bring your right hand under your nose. Lift your left arm straight up to the ceiling. Take a twist. And remember, twists, they don't come from the waist, they come from the rib cage. So your right rib cage is rolling under, left rib cage is rolling back, stacking shoulder on top of shoulder. And your hands, you can be on your palm or you can come to your fingertips. And on the inhale, we lengthen our spine from the crown of our head to our tailbone. And on the exhale, we try to twist a little bit more, reaching through our fingertips to twist. And go ahead, come on down. Walk your hands back to the front of your mat, coming through pyramid pose, and just step your foot back to the top of your mat. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Bring your hands to your heart. Step your left foot back. Nice big step back. And then exhale into your front knee, 90 degrees. Reach your arms straight up, warrior one. Relax your shoulders. If it feels good to you, if you want to relax the shoulders a little bit more, you can turn the pinkies towards each other. That'll send your shoulder blades down your spine. Yeah. You inhale, reach through your fingers, press down into the outer edges of your back foot, and exhale, sink lower into your hips. You're going straight down, not forward. In yoga, our warriors are not attacking. We're just letting our presence be known. Sinking into the hips, energy is going down. And then inhale, reach up, straighten your front leg. And exhale, hinge at the waist, reaching forward, hand comes down. You can soften your knees, drop your head. You can step your back foot forward if you want to, if that's more comfortable. But it's a hamstring stretch. You want to feel in your right hamstring. Drop your head, soften shoulders. Imagine the right hip is pushing back and the left hip is coming forward to keep the hips square to the front. And feel the stretch. Soften head and shoulders. Remember, every inhale we lengthen and expand, and every exhale we surrender and release any tension in the body. And then go ahead, walk your hands to the left, keeping your head nice and low. You come into your wide angle forward fold. Again, you can stay on your fingertips or come down to your palms, soften knees as much as you like. And keep telling yourself yes, yes. Or you can practice stillness. Feel like you're falling forward, but your heels are rooting down into the ground. Inhale, lift yourself up to a half lift. Left hand, you can come down to the palm or the fingertips, and right hand goes straight up to the ceiling. Your hips are even, unmoved. The weight is even between your feet. You inhale, lengthen through the arms, through your spine, and exhale, twist from the ribs. Shoulders away from your ears. Again, if you need to practice relaxing your shoulders, just turn your pinkies in, your scapula will just right down the spine. And then go ahead, bring your hand down. Walk your hands back to the front. Step your feet together and you're in a forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms over your head. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. We're going to practice Utkatasana. We're not going to stay very long. We're just going to exhale, sink into your hips, squeeze your knees together, push the glutes out. Keep your knees over your toes. If you look down, you should be able to see your toes. You can keep your hands to your heart, or you can send them out right in front of you, or send them up. So you look like a thunderbolt. Take a breath in, sit into your Utkatasana. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, sweep your arms up, opening up the lungs so you can feel more air in there. And then exhale, sink into your Utkatasana. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up high over your head. You can bring them to your heart if you want. And exhale, sink into your chair. Again, hands can be wherever you want them to be. Yogi's choice. Take a breath in. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Fold. We're going to do it one more time. Inhale, rise up. Utkatasana, sit into your chair. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Place your hands down. We're going to come into a high plank. Palms are nice and big. Step your left foot back. Step your right foot back. Knee comes down. Take a child's pose. And go ahead and push yourself up to tabletop. I like to cross my legs at the ankles, sit on my heels, and just bring my legs out in front of me for staff pose. Again, here, pulling the thigh back so that my hamstrings are nice and long and I'm sitting on my tailbone. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, forward fold over. Forehead is reaching for my toes. before I attempt to lower my head and chest. You go as low as your hamstrings will allow. You can bend your knees if you want, or you can keep them straight. You can do a yogi toe hold. Use your peace fingers to grab your big toes if you want. You can grab the soles of your feet if you want, or you can just leave your hands right by the side. And use your hands to walk yourself up. Chin is tucked until your shoulders are over your hips, and then go ahead and lift your head. You're going to pull your right knee in, sole of your foot on the ground. Hips are even. You're still sitting right on top of your sits bones. And you can pull your knee in, pull your chest to your thigh, sitting up nice and tall. And from here, reach your arms over your head and exhale, twist to the right. Take a spinal twist. You can hug your right knee in. Your left hand is creating a kickstand to keep you nice and tall. Relax your shoulders. Relax your elbows. Soften your elbows. That'll keep your shoulders from going up here, right? Keep them down, a little bent. And then go ahead, come back to center. I like to make a tree leg with my right foot. So the right foot is on the inner thigh of the left leg. My knee is going down towards the earth. Inhale, reach your arms up, and then exhale, forward fold over your left leg. Same thing here. Yogi toe hold, interlace your fingers and grab the sole of your foot, or have it down by the side, but surrender your head, neck, no wrinkles in the back of the neck. You can use your right hand to press your right knee down into the ground if you want, if you need a little bit more space to get lower to the ground. And go ahead, roll yourself up one vertebrae at a time. Go ahead and lift your right knee and send your leg behind you. This top of your right foot could come down to the ground, or you could have your ankle on the ground. Your knee can be going straight ahead, or it could be out to the side a little bit more. Do whatever feels good to you, your body. So I've got my heel close to my outer right thigh, and then I'm going to come down to my elbows. Notice how that feels. Feel the quad stretch. I'm on my elbows, 90 degree in my elbows. Lift your chest up, drop your head. Lifting, sending my jaw over my top teeth, just to stretch the neck a little bit more, stretch the jaw, press your glutes down into the ground, lift your chest, lift your rib cage, elbows pressing down, hips pressing down so that you can lift your chest higher. That's called rooting to rise. You're rooting down into what's on the ground so that you can reach higher. And then go ahead, tuck your chin. And if it feels good, you can come down to your back. If not, you just go ahead, push yourself back up and come back to staff pose. Using your elbows to push yourself up, swing your leg back out in front of you. Adjusting, coming back into staff pose.
pull your left knee into your chest. Avoiding the rib cage. Almost like you're trying to get your knee into your armpits, your knee in line with your shoulder. Notice that my elbows are tucked, my chest is lifting, spine is long, chin tightly tucked. Inhale, reach your arms over your head, and then exhale and twist to the left, hooking my knee right into the crease of my elbow. I'm giving it a hug as I'm twisting. Left elbow is soft, but my hands, my palm is still big. That's my foundation. I keep my foundation big and solid, palms pressing down, fingers wide, lifting my chest, rooting down so that I could rise. Stay connected to your breath. And twist a little bit more from the rib cage. Go ahead, come back to center. Make a tree leg, sole of my left foot to the inner right thigh. Adjust as necessary. Reach the arms up and exhale, forward fold over. My shoulders are square to the ground. My foot is flexed, so my toes are curling towards my forehead. I'm reaching my forehead towards my toes. I'm sending my chest down to the ground, dropping my head to lengthen the spine. Go ahead and press into your right knee if you want to, if that feels good. But don't forget about your hips rooting down, your foot flexing. And go ahead, roll yourself up. Scoop your knee in and send your foot right behind you. Same thing here. Your heel can be close to your thigh or off your mat. And go ahead, come down to your elbows. If this feels like a good enough stretch, go ahead and stay here. Press down into your elbows. So my elbows are right under my shoulders. My tailbone, my hips, my sits bones are squared to the ground. Go ahead and lift your chest, drop your head. It can be very uncomfortable to drop our heads like this. But try to stay as long as you can in the discomfort. Notice how you react to the discomfort. Instead of leaning into the discomfort or dramatizing the discomfort, just notice how it feels. Sometimes I feel this tingling in my throat. I feel the tingling in my nose. But I stay, because I know it'll pass. Nothing ever lasts very long. You can lift your head, tuck your chin, lift your head. You can come on down to your back just for a little bit longer if this feels good to you. Stretch your quad. Or you could just come back to seated staff pose. Push yourself up. Swing your legs out in front of you. And then bring the soles of your feet together. Turn this way so you can see me, but you stay. Bring the soles of your feet together. I like to grab my ankles and press my elbows into my inner thighs. I pull my chest forward and exhale. My chest down to the ground, relaxing shoulders. You can interlace your fingers, grab your toes, and have your elbows on the inside if that feels good to you too. But you're still lengthening the spine, pulling the chest forward, and then surrendering the head and neck and shoulders. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. Sometimes I can feel how big I'm making my back. I'm kind of, there's nothing wrong with opening up the back and feel like you're spreading your shoulder blades apart and rounding down. And then inhale, come back to a flat back, and exhale, forward fold over again. Play with the sensations in your body. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a little body play. And sway side to side if you want to. Drop one shoulder if you want to. Just notice how it feels in your back and your side body and your inner thighs. You can butterfly your knees if you want to. Do whatever you want here. And go ahead and roll yourself up one vertebra at a time. And we're going to stack our legs, just crisscross, a little cow pile, knee over knee. So your right knee is over your left knee. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, and then exhale, forward fold over. You can have your hands out to the side, or you can bring them down in front of you, but go ahead and tuck your chin, tuck your head down. You can even rest your forehead right on your knee if that feels good to you, or you can rest your chin, depending on the flexibility in your hips. Nothing is wrong, and every body is different. Stay here for a couple rounds of breath. Staying longer than you want to, longer than you think you can. And just softening the knees and the hips and the shoulders. And use your hands to walk yourself back up. Bring the soles of your feet down to the ground. Separate them a little wider than your mat. And just take some windshield washers with the knees. Dropping the knees from side to side. My arms are long, pressing down into the ground. Just swaying side to side. I'm lifting my chest, keeping my spine nice and long. You can even drop your head if you want to. And then come back to center and switch the stack. The right leg goes on the bottom, and the left comes over the top. Knees stacked on top of one another, sitting evenly on your sits bones. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. You can have your arms up and then exhale forward, or you can just keep them down by the side. It's about keeping your spine nice and long. And if you're leading with your heart and your chin, your spine will stay long. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, leading with your chin and your heart. And then exhale, forward fold down. Again, you can drop your head to the side, forehead to your chin, arms to the side or forward in front of you, wherever you want. Just find some moment of comfort in this very uncomfortable position. It is uncomfortable. I feel it in my hips, but I'm going to stay, and I'm going to focus on my breath, and I hope you are too. Soften the head a little bit more. Let that 8 pounds of gravity, 8 pounds, just help you surrender. Take a big breath in. Exhale. And use your hands to push yourself up. Swing your legs out in front of you and windshield washer again. Then I want you to come onto your backs. Walk your heels close to your hips, as close as you can. Knees are going straight up to the ceiling. And your middle finger should be able to feel your heels. If not, that's okay. Reach your arms down. Your palms facing up as you try to reach it down. Palms facing up again. It draws the shoulder blades down and towards the spine. Keep you in alignment into Tadasana. You're on your backs. You can have your palm up or palms down, whatever feels good to you. Feel your entire back connected to the ground. Feel the soles of your feet connected to the ground. Release your toes. Lift your big toe and lay all your toes back down. Drawing navel to the spine. Feel your lower back connected. We're going to come into bridge pose. Bridge pose, tuck your chin slightly. It's all about lengthening the spine. And eventually the back of your neck will get closer to the ground. And as you root down, you press down into the soles of your feet. Tuck your tailbone and roll your spine off the ground. Push your feet down, tucking the tailbone, lift your hips. I like to keep my arms nice and relaxed because remember, we're working the back side of the body. We're pressing down into the feet to lift the hips, working the hamstrings and glutes, the biggest muscle in your body. Press down, lift up. And then you're going to reverse the roll, sending your thoracic spine down. Tailbone is tucked, middle spine. Lower back comes down, tailbone is still tucked. And then when my lower back gets to the ground, then I release my tailbone. We're going to do that again, a slow roll. And sometimes the slower you move, the better it feels. And really pay attention to the spinal articulation. And plant your feet. Reach your hands down. Keep your shoulders connected to the ground, chin tucked, and slowly roll into bridge pose. Pressing down into your feet. Knees do not move. Only the hips are moving. And pushing down, pushing my feet down into the ground to lift my hips higher. And then go ahead, tuck. And come back down. Go ahead, hug your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. And make a T with your arms and just drop your knees off to the right. Look to the left for a spinal twist. And palms up or down, whatever feels good to you. Just keep your shoulders connected to the ground. And inhale through center and exhale.